I'm Rick Tarosi, run Silicon Florist. I'm the guy behind the programming on this, and this is one of those talks. The biggest pleasure of programming this event was getting the chance to see people speak who I really like seeing speak, and Aaron is an amazing example of that. I can't wait to hear this talk. Glad all of you can make it here, but if Aaron doesn't just blow the roof off of it, I will be shocked. Are you going to screw up? Or are you gonna... All right, okay, cool, good. I'm glad to hear that. So, without further ado, Aaron Draplin.
Is this on? I can hear that, right? Okay. All right, so today, my name is Aaron James Draplin. I'm a graphic designer. I live here in Portland, Oregon, right? I'm 38 and a half years old, and I've prepared for you guys a fucking multimedia presentation using science, using wit, using truth, couple fibs. It's up to you to kind of figure that shit out, but get comfortable. It's about a 2.5-hour presentation. Right? Can you guys see this stuff? You guys can see it? Okay. So hello, Portland, right? Okay, hello. And, come on. This is... So Burnside, Briggside, so thank you to the Portland Digital Experience for rolling the dice on me. I could sync the whole brand with this thing. UserFest Northwest, 4 or 5 years now, going pretty good. Trevor for bringing me here. Rick for gambling on this. Hillers as my sort of life coach, and then Pig Champion, the ghost of Pig Champion, I'd like to thank. Okay, for Pig Champion, everybody. Okay, so our intentions today, this talk is meant to clear the air. We're going to clear the air. We're going to blow you away, right? We're going to win you over. We're going to defy the fucking odds, okay? Because I shouldn't be up here. I mean, that's it, right? And I have no credentials. I mean, none. No professional sort of accolades or anything. I mean, Google it, right? I've never won an award. Right? I don't have a book to sell yet. I usually don't wear pants, so today I thought I'd class the place up and show up formal, right? Okay, so here's my whole history. We're going to run through this pretty quick here. From birth to this podium or this little bar table here today. I'm from Detroit, right? I was born in Detroit where they made cars. It was the home of the MC5, right? The MC5. Born in Redford, Michigan, to a dad with a lot of hair, right? And, when I was about 5 years old, we moved up north to Traverse City, Michigan to sort of get away from the city. And I suddenly have a little sister, a lot of hair in this photo, your basic sort of mom and dad, Midwestern sort of upbringing. In the northwoods of Michigan, so we're sort of cut off from this big city that we're sort of used to. So I'm 6 or 7 years old, and it's your basic American sort of upbringing, riding bikes, and swimming and playing baseball and all that sort of shit as a kid. But you're in this small town, and in this small town, there's sort of this division, really quick division between, the sort of jocks, if you will, and then sort of everything else. And obviously those kids are the best looking and the fastest and the coolest. And, you're in this little small town of Central Lake, Michigan, and I tried my hand at this shit, and this is... It's all the warts and moles, everybody. So, I tried my hand at this bullshit, and it just didn't work. It was dumb, whatever. And when I was 13 years old, we sort of got rescued out of this Central Lake to Traverse City, Michigan, which was suddenly this sort of like renaissance for me because there was, dangerous stuff there, and you could sort of hide in the big school I went to. And there, I got to go to a VOTEC school, so I had a lot of choices suddenly. I was a skateboarder and grew up skateboarding, and I sort of picked this path and could care less about homecoming queens and all that sort of shit. And that was our summers, of course, but in the winter we were snowboarders, and that's what we did. We gave our lives to this thing, and we'd work at the mountains and started actively saving our cash to get the hell out of the Midwest. So when I'm 19 years old, I get a little associate's degree from Northwestern Michigan Community College to placate mom and dad. This is 1993. My friends, we graduated in 91. My friends move all out west, so they're already out in Colorado. And it's our turn to go, and Colorado's sort of played out, right? So we're going to keep going to where we know no one, all right? So we go all the way to Oregon in a hunk of shit 84 Buick Skyhawk to ride places like, well, Oregon, there's sort of Mount Baker, right? To come to the mountains and actually ride the things that we saw in the magazines and the stuff that we had up on our walls. We made this shit happen for ourselves. So we're 19 years old, we get all the way out west, and it was incredible, right? So friends and our, what was paramount was getting up every morning and riding every day. At night, you're working at some pizza job or whatever the hell you're doing. This is Jackson Hole. I got to go and travel with sort of professional snowboarders and got to hit. I used to clear the jump, the landing out. That was one of my sort of specialties at these big jumps. If you're a snowboarder, don't be pissed, whatever, sorry. But in and out of my van all over the West, had this network of friends, all the way up to, sort of your Bellinghams, all the way down to SoCal, and all the way home to the Midwest, and would sort of just travel and tour in my little vans. Well, I'm snowboarding during the day, and at night, I'm doing whatever it takes in a little Bend, Oregon, to just sort of cut it, right? And here I am painting futon covers. I'm illustrating more and more. I'm painting, and I would come up to Portland here and see some band or something, and I would go to, I'd go get a couple of little new colors of paint or whatever and bring that home. But it was a slow crawl, and I didn't have this computer. So you can kind of see where my lines and stuff are going. This is just like, a horsehair brush and some ink, right? So I did my first snowboard graphic, and it was $300, and it was 1994, for a little Colorado company called Solid Snowboards. And this was like the first step where it was like, I didn't have to go and work at a pizza job. I did graphics and made money, and I lived off that $300. $300 goes a long way when you're 20, right? So this is the first step at saying, maybe I could do something with this shit, right? So I'm painting more and more, and then I finally take all this painting and illustration and sneaking into community colleges to use PageMaker and shit on their computers. And I've had enough, and I'm not going to go any farther in this little town of Bend, Oregon. And I'm going to go and make some cash, because to get that first computer, that first tool, and I'm going to have to go and it's going to have to suck for a while. So I go all the way to Alaska to wash dishes, right? I did 5 months up there, completely horrible. It's beautiful for 2 weeks. You're in, God's country, right? You're in this beautiful Denali National Park, and you're whipping by this stuff every day, but it gets old after a week. And I'm up there to wash dishes, save as much cash as possible. I'm not going to spend any money on Kavu hats and pants that zip down to shorts and all that kind of bullshit everyone was wasting their money on. I was there to work. And I worked a lot of shifts, and here I am sleeping on the train. And you can see here, if you look real close, some fucker put a mosquito on my lip. So, just the idea of what a spirit, sort of spirit it was up there, it's just horrible. But that first summer of '96, I'm making t-shirts and goodies and stuff to sell and peddle to all the guys. So we'd have our own crew gear instead of some crap you buy in downtown Anchorage. And that first summer, I saved 10 grand, and I bought my computer. And that's where shit really took off. I came back to Bend for that winter, and I didn't have to work any more regular jobs. I had the tools to utilize all this stuff up here and start producing this stuff and working sort of freelance, right? I did that for 3 winters, exceeded whatever I thought I could do in Bend. And I thought I'd go back and see, because I'd come up to Portland, I'd hear friends who had big jobs, at snowboard companies and Nikes and shit, and they were like college graduates, right? So I started looking at schools in the Midwest. And I find this school in Minneapolis called the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. I just throw all my shit away in the West. I quit saying the word dude. I'm just done. And I moved back here to this, back home to this Minneapolis, because it's my heroes were there, right? Design heroes, and then all these ghosts that were already long gone, and you'd get made fun of for digging this stuff, So there was this sort of undercurrent there of stuff that was really well done, but never blew up, right? So I found that super inspiring in Minneapolis. And I went to this highfalutin design school, get a big degree, and I'm trying to learn how to sort of, hone this craft and learn how to go and apply this stuff to, like, I remember a teacher saying, what do you want to do with your life? And I remember telling her, I want to make a living. And that being sort of snide to her. When you're in that, in this big school, you're supposed to say shit like, use design to change this, or make a book about this. I just wanted to go work, right? So I'm in there and I'm learning how to screen print. This was called Famous Alcoholics. and I'm learning how to, weld and make things out of metal and stuff. And this isn't just about design. Like I learned how to use all the tools in the workshop to build my loft in my apartment. So it was this chance to really reset, learn everything, and then go and work. And I got my first job, and goddamn, Del Vista, Laguna Beach, whatever the hell it was, Orange County, at Snowboarder Magazine. And here you can see my palatial spread here of $1,600, in this beautiful Laguna Beach or wherever the hell, just a hellhole. I mean, the sun every day, and it's just not for me, right? But I got to work on the mag that I would see my friends in. And I mean, there was a bigger mag, but I went and chose the smaller mag because it was a scrappier crew and they were underdogs, and it wasn't totally guaranteed. But I got to get in there and really kind of mix shit up for them, We got to step back from the same old action shots and try to have no budget, make a little photography out of the stuff. And I just have to say, it was horrible living down there for me. But I got to go to Tennessee to see them make 200,000 of the mag, and that was pretty cool. So that was my first job, Snowboarder Magazine. So I do that for 2 years. I get rescued, thank God, back to Oregon. And I get to come work for the Cinco Design Office, this killer little shop in town here. A friend calls me down there to find a lead, and I just say, man, hire me, right? And I get back to Oregon, and I move it all back up here, and I get to work on Nixon watches. So it's cool action sport shit, right? And I got to make, we're drawing watches and sort of industrial design stuff. This watch was called the Dork. Working for Grab Shoes, and it's like this. I'm sorry.
Oh, I really hate to do this, but we're going to take a 2-second intermission. Someone has blocked in somebody who needs to get out. They've got a blue Traverse from Nevada. Anyone? Nevada plates. Blue.
I just saw someone go.
Did somebody just run? You hate me now, David.
Does anyone have any jokes about Reno?
Beta test? All right, okay.
Reno, the biggest, smallest hellhole in the West Coast. What's it called? Biggest, small, tiniest, saddest. Okay, are we cool?
Yeah, we're good.
So I'm working for this Cinco Design Office, and it's controlled and cool, and there's account managers, and there's, nice paychecks and all this shit, and having to jump on planes to go back to California and all this kind of stuff. And basically, you get in there and they say you can work as much as you want, and I kind of took them up on that shit. I worked a ton at Cinco, and then of course, how do you get ahead anywhere? And I started freelancing with all these contacts from years of snowboarding, and then getting to this cool town here where there were actual companies and stuff. And I started freelancing, and basically it just sort of tipped. And it's like whatever I could make in a salary, pretending to want to be there at 9 in the morning, I'm making more. Just working for myself at the house. No pants, nothing. And I had to jump out, And I mean, that's a scary thing for sort of a Midwesterner who doesn't, who knows how to take 15 grand a year from Alaska and stretch it for years, right? So it's a scary prospect to sort of go on my own, but I had to see if I could do it. So I bought a house. I put my month in. I quit my job. I got some security, little Gary here. I tripped out the basement to be this sort of studio with my stuff and my rules and my hours and whatever. And I got some clients, These are little things these are guys that I know from the chairlift, right? So we sort of invented these little brands. These are little tiny budgets and little tiny ideas and little tiny products. And 10 years later now, these are like real things kind of, And these are the guys that sort of believed in me right out of the Cinco Design Office to go and work on my own. So I had clients right away. So I become this thing called the Draplin Design Company, right? And it's just sort of like this bad joke. I met a lot of cool people in town here and shit, other traveling designers working for some cool name, place, smarter than you, tell you they're smarter than you, act smarter than you, whatever. So Draplin Design Company seemed to work. It was, design's our middle name, right? One of those sort of deals. And it just sort of took off. So that's 2004. So 2004, I'm working. We have a PSA for you guys. To the lovers of artisanal mustard here in town, Smart Portland, you guys, right? Smart mustard in tubes and shit. Whatever, okay? I like French's mustard, man. Okay? I like yellow mustard. Nothing in a tube, no twigs or bark or fucking honey in that shit. No, yellow mustard. It's my talk. Okay. So now using scientific proof with a up-and-coming band from England. We're going to see if we can't show you guys proof that I should be here, sort of, because I'm still questioning it, really, and show you guys the last 10 years of my life working out of my basement, out of our studio downtown now for the last couple of years, and getting away with cool shit. I was told I wouldn't like my job from when I was a little kid from uncles and stuff. My parents never told me that. But I was told you'd be lucky to get a job, and then maybe you'll like it. That's what I saw growing up, and here's proof of the flip side of that shit. So, okay, we're going to use some multimedia. We're going to turn the music up. Here we go. Wait, and... Ah, shit. Well, it's supposed to play. Just put the Kim's watermelon guns on. Here. What's up, everybody? Real classy here, huh? All right. Okay, we're just as loud as we can. Okay, that's working. Just turn that off. We'll turn the video all the way up, and we'll see if we can get this thing to play to the PDF. God damn it. Sorry, guys. This is the first day of my 16-day fall tour. I mean, I have a fall tour. It's just cool. We're kind of working out the kinks, I guess. But we'll see if we can't do it again here. Okay, here we go. Okay, ready? Music all the way up. Wrong music. All right, you guys talk amongst yourselves or whatever. Someone go move a car. Okay. Anyone got any jokes or anything cool or a little story they'd like to come up here and share while we get this shit worked out? It worked at the shop 13 minutes ago. Yep. That's a fucking great song, or a little rant, if you will. Okay, let's try it again. So, music, don't turn the music on, right? Thank you, sir. And we'll see if we can get it to play through this. Here we go. So that's supposed to be really smooth, and I tell you where I'm from, and then I say something stupid about mustard, and then I show you a bunch of work that, like, one of the jobs I got paid $25 grand. A lot of the jobs I got paid $0. Right? But it's this idea of like, I didn't punch into anything unless I loved it, right? Be it for lots of money sometimes, or for no money, right? And this is, it's not a job anymore. This is what I get to do, right? It's really, really, really cool. So I just want to, show that blast of stuff, because that's not necessarily the shit that makes me cash. That's stuff that I feel lucky to have pulled off for friends or a band, or a big, super multinational brand somewhere in there too. So yeah, okay. So here's an idea. Okay, money versus no money, right? Okay, and sort of what means the most in the end. Because now that I look back at a decade of my life, working on my own, and seeing friends out in the Beaverton or whatever get big homes and fucking cigarette boats, and whatever they were amassing from big professional jobs. I look back and it's like, really, what matters, And this next little one, it's called Cobra Dogs. And here's a friend that comes, my buddy Corey comes to me, and he's got no cash. And he's in a bit of he's got this problem, right? He's got this hot dog cart, and, for a long time, he's got this hot dog cart, and for a long time they're using the Cobra Commander logo, right, from Hasbro and G.I. Joe. And he gets a cease and desist, right, from some lawyer or something. He comes to me, he's got no cash, he's totally freaked out. And he's been, to other friends to say, help me with my project. I need to get this new logo going. I have no cash, right? And basically, a lot of guys turned him down. And it comes to me, and this is just my friend. I love what he's doing. It's a cool thing. Hot dogs, right? Cool. And we just take it on. I'm busy that summer. We're going crazy. And I make room for this thing. And sort of the idea here is sometimes, this is sort of my favorite logo now, because it's gotten me so many jobs, because there weren't all these sort of like fake things applied to it, like, meetings about meetings and emails about emails and shit. And we just had this opportunity to go and just take the time, make it right. Here's a buddy Blotto representing with a mouthful of hot dog up at government camp where this thing's taken off. It's 4 or 5 years now. And Corey does very well. He's franchising these things all over the West. And, 10 years later, I did a logo for Nike, giant logo for Nemo. And it was really cool. I mean, you do it, you work on it for I get called in the 25th hour. They've been working on it for 6 months. You don't see it for 8 more months. And then you see it in airports in Munich and New York City. I got to see that shit in the course of a week, 3 different places in the world. But I look back now and it's no money versus the big bucks. And really, what do I think about, And it's I think about the fact that I made his mom happy, right? And I think about what this meant to our friends here as a community and a guy going for it and making his little Cobra Dogs enterprise. And, I've never been paid a cent, but I love the guy. And I just want to say, be open to that shit too, because he had a lot of doors slammed in his face saying, no cash, no way. And that's cool, but I don't know if it's all that cool. I'm from a different sort of place where it's still fun to do these things. So just think about that shit. What do you spend your time on? And what matters, okay? So invent your world, right? Here's an idea. Invent your world. Be the client. We wait for clients to bring us shit and say, here's this thing, this little object, and put a logo on it, and we're going to make it $10 million bucks, and we're going to pay you a couple grand, right? That's kind of how it goes. Well, after so many years now, I've watched that process go down I'd say about 6, 7 years now. After years and years and years of using old memo books, I make this little thing called Field Notes. And it's simply a reaction to how beautiful handwriting, should still be to us, and how everything was, I had an address book that was electronic, and I got into it way into the hierarchy, and I erased the damn thing, right? So I was about 98 or something, and what a lesson that was. After that, I write all my phone numbers down. So years and years of collecting this shit all over the West, and then going to big places like Milan and seeing these big, Moleskines or Muji's or whatever, and collecting those things and using those things. I just want to make my own, right? And I did that. So $2,000, 2,000 books, and I make my first stack here in town, and I start giving them out to friends or whoever will take it. American-made pencils, and basically having control of every little edge and every little staple. The paper's made in Michigan, the staples are made in upstate New York, whatever the hell it was. This idea that this is ours, it's mine, or it's going to be, if it ever took off, it's not someone coming, bringing something to me that I'm going to go watch them retire on. I don't know, it's a bit of a roll of the dice, right? Well, I partnered with my buddy Jim Kudal out of Chicago, and we shake on this thing, we just go 50-50. And Jim's this total entrepreneurial, graphic designer and art director and just company guy. And he takes this thing from me, right, into good hands. He builds me a website, and he knows how to make this thing go. Builds me a website, and we start putting dots on the map, right? So this thing starts to take off, right? As it's going, as of last whatever, there's a lot of stores carrying our shit. I'm going to Manhattan tonight, and tomorrow there's 20 places to pick from to go and, make sure they're all orderly in the shop and stuff, and, some place that has $300 artisanal sweaters, whatever, it's cool, sell them there. Making stuff like this, memo books and dumb tear-off calendars, or just because it's autumn, add a little color to the mix, or there's a demographic that we need to address called girls, right? And as a tribute to my mom, her favorite marigolds, right? We made one for every state, right? Lost our asses on Arkansas, did real well on the West Coast. But this idea that we have control, and if we have that little bit of profit, we can make something cool. To the point now where my jobs are sort of to take my 1,000 memo books I have, scan them all in, clip them all out, clean them up, and then offer those to Field Notes fans for free, and just say we could pull this thing off. We didn't have to go hire a bunch of coders. We had our own buddy code the thing to make a little set like this. And the idea that that's where my life sort of is going, I make a dividend, I guess you'd call it, each year. There's a little profit, and a couple of years ago, I was able to take my parents to a car lot, basically, and say, pick out whatever one you want. Granted, it was a Saturn, but that was pretty cool. We have a new one about baseball, and dads and memory loss. Really, this is our decisions. and our sort of ass on the line. And as this thing is sort of taking off and proliferating all over town, and then all over these other places, it's just cool because it was never about making any cash. It was just to see if I could make my own and just give away as many as I could for fun, right? So this thing, we've invented this little beast. It's starting to kind of run itself, and I can't give just an afternoon anymore. It's a couple days of my week, sort of. So here's another PSA for you guys, some color theory for you guys. Some color theory. Master your color theory. There's a quote I learned in Minneapolis, and it goes like this. Nothing says, I don't quite get it, quite like purple. So just be careful. See a guy in a t-shirt back there, sorry, it's a joke, just purple, it's the color of royalty, hard to mix on printing and stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, there's a challenge for all you guys in the crowd there, is to get out there and get dirty. Okay, listen, I have digital conference, digital people, everything's backed up on some little dongle that goes on your keychain, right? Your whole life, your whole world is in some cloud or some shit. Well, here's a challenge to go get dirty. I've been getting dirty for a long time, right? Taking my little shit Passat, just such a yuppie, But driving across America, I bought a van a couple years ago, and going wherever, to places. Cool, huh? Yeah. Going to places, we're just going to go for it. Going to places like this. This is out 135th and whatever, way out there. And you go down into this place, it's a state sale, and there's just garbage. I mean, it's sketchy. There's puddles of things, and you're afraid to touch shit and whatever. But I'm in there digging around all this kind of stuff, digging around, with this idea that, I know who the heroes are in design, right? I mean, I've written papers about them. I own the books. Tomorrow I'm going to New York. I get to meet Massimo Vignelli, right? A design legend. I know who these guys are. It's cool, but just think about this, right? Think about these guys. Not the guys with the big tomes or whatever, but about working designers and the shit that I find out there, and I share openly and just kind of say, this is cool. I've never seen it. It's this incredible logo or it's something. Why aren't we seeing this thing? Whatever. So think about these guys who were just working designers back in the day. And then think about restraint and how they took something with one or two colors, and a small whatever, on some shitty cardboard, and had incredible sort of success with their design. Think about that. We have 1 million colors now, 1 million fonts, and we make shit all the time, right? So back in the day when you had to make something last for 10 years, some thought went into it, So I'm out there getting dirty, collecting this shit, sharing it on tons of Flickr sets and stuff, just for the hell of it, And over the years, I've amassed quite a volume, and it's this idea of I don't know, it's not mine. I just don't want it to go away because right now on 135th and whatever at this estate sale, as soon as the parasites from eBay or whatever are done with the place, and they've gone through and got the glassware and the doilies and all this shit that has some point paintings and whatever has some value, it just goes to a landfill. And I'm so afraid that all this shit that I love, Hillerns, all this shit that I love, is going to sort of be melted down into pulp or whatever the hell it would be at, that big, scary dump that they have out, in north over here. So just think about that stuff when you're out there. Collect this shit, share it. Let's keep it going, I've been doing it for a long time. And just remember, this is shit, these are the size of a dime. So a guy used to have to think, or this crafts person had to think, how does this thing work at this big? And then basically maybe on the side of the Learjet. And your design changes when you have to really consider that stuff. That little Red Devil logo is incredible. That's 1 centimeter right there. So if you just think about that and how we're working today, well, we'd have a lot better website logos and icons and shit. So just think about that shit. So go get dirty, collect this shit. Here's a little look inside my shop. I've arrived. I have flat files, tons of flat files filled with shit, right? And lots of larceny over the years here, you can see. Pretty crafty with a cat paw, and jumping fences. Street value of nothing. But just to start a project and just go and take a look at restraint or one font or one color and how that might work, if it's appropriate, of course. But just to go look at that little Sylvania light bulb package. That's what it used to look like. Imagine 1970 when you'd go buy a light bulb. That's what it looked like, right? And now you go to Home Depot, it's sad, So in my shop, I have piles of this shit all over the place, and I'm using this stuff, and it's constantly going in and out of the place. So just think about this stuff. Just think about it. Because as we forge new technologies and new, I don't even know what the hot shit is, Pearl or Ruby or some shit, I don't fuck, whatever. It's just, we can't lose this stuff. So what's next for the DDC? Okay, well, today starts the fucking 2002 fall tour, and I'm just so excited to say that because I've been going for about 3 years now, a ton of places. Sorry about the snafu, you guys, sorry about that shit, but it's been a little smoother out here in places like, you know, fucking Minneapolis and Philadelphia, and I mean, Vegas, and here we are, Portland today to start this thing off, and shit, I got a bunch coming up tomorrow morning. I'll be in New York City doing that one, and Salt Lake, and Memphis, and Nashville, and Iowa City, and I've just been going to all these places and going crazy, and it's just sort of this idea of telling my story and getting away with it, and I've got, you know, 16 dates for the next 10 weeks, whatever it is. I'm going to fucking Belfast and Stockholm, right? It's pretty cool, right? And Rapid City, too. You know how hard it is to fly into Rapid City? I'm flying into Laramie or Cheyenne and driving a car up there. That's what it's going to be. I'll go to your town to tell all your friends, right? I'll go to Hellhole, USA. I've been to some shitholes in the last 3 years, but I'll go anywhere. So I made a tour t-shirt, and I don't know if they showed up, you know, but we made a tour t-shirt. I love rock and roll. I love bands. I love my friends who are in bands. I love buying records. I love collecting all that shit. I like looking at roadies. I like backstage passes around a roadie's neck. I like all that shit. And this is the closest I'll ever be to being in a fucking band, right? So I wanted a heavy metal t-shirt, man. And poor Gary, the spirit of Gary, and he's passed, but ripping him in half and fucking hot dogs and memo books and shit. So come on back and buy a t-shirt, you guys. God damn it, right? Okay. What's next? I'm making dumb bumper stickers. You know, I'm going to go tour, and I'm going to make dumb bumper stickers, just as a sort of tribute to the old Imco stickers. I had a buddy illustrate my dad. I can make my own little Drapco, Imco, little elf imp thing. Made my own little fake, this is actually against the law, fake, what do you call it, fucking, union logo or whatever to put down in the corner really tiny. And I'm going to make these bullshit stickers. I'm going to go place them in like trinket shops across America. Just put them on the old, just put a stack right on there and just walk away. No price tag. Shit, yeah, Jim Draplin, Michigan. So dumb. I got the quote back from the guy. It's $3,000 to make like, I don't know, like 7,000 or 8,000 stickers. It's so stupid, but fuck it, I'm going to do it. It's going to have a lifetime of these things. That's what's next for the DDC. So, okay, things I love, and we'll get you out of here back to your big jobs and yeah, so things I love. At the very top, I love my mom. This is an approved shot. Okay, they go through a lot of markup and Lightroom and Photoshopery and shit to get to this, but I love my dad. I have a wild dad. Action shot. I love my family. I have sisters who've grown up, and you know, I love my family. I have a great family. You know, we're all scattered, but at some point we'll probably be back in that hellhole Midwest. But I love Lee. Thank you, Lee, for manning the merge table, for dealing with all this shit for all these years. Thank you, Lee. Gary, then Gary passed, but I love Gary. I had a wiener dog for a number of years. He had a back injury, and we used to take one everywhere. You know, this was titled, "What's good for his mouth is good for mine." And, you know, you got the fucking craft services and sweeps and shit. Let's get some shots, right? I love my nephew Oliver, man. My little sister got herself pregnant, had a little boy, and he's this beautiful little, I mean, you know, holding him for that first month and totally moving myself to tears over his pinky fingernail. You know, blood's thicker than water. Nephew Oliver. Love my buddy Dale, right? You guys know Dale, maybe, you know. Heart of a lion, face of a pit bull, Dale Allen Dixon. Does all the shipping for the DDC, fucks up so many orders. We made a little form, it's an apology form. I love my buddies. You might be on there, might not, but I love my buddies. You know, we don't get to hang out much because we're all busy working professional motherfuckers, right? So I love my buddies. I want to hang out with them more. Guys, just come to the shop, okay? I love America. I know that's tricky in this town because this is the kind of town that like, you're at the barbecue and the kid says, you know, I don't even own a TV. Oh, really? I own a TV. I watch it. I like my country. I like American flags. You know, I don't want to bomb other countries. No fucking way. But that's tricky in Portland, Oregon to like dumb stuff like, you know, America. That sort of. I love the man. I believe in him. I don't know if it's all totally working out for him, but I just believe in clear thinking and, you know, the statesman quality to actually going out and conducting, you know, proper business to the world instead of just dumb business to fucking Texas. So, I like the man. So thank you for your vote. Tell all your friends. goddamn mom and dad back home and have them tell their friends. That's how it's going to work, I think. I love autumn. Thank God we're in autumn. There's a lot of Gold Bond this summer. I love guitars. That's a leaner Aaron Draplin up in Alaska. I bought my first guitar up there and taught myself how to play. I love guitars. Love records. I have a monster record collection. Love getting lost. It's a bit of a challenge to you guys to go and fucking get lost and go to some state sales. You know, here in town on 149th and Sketch out there, whatever. Go out there. It's fun, whatever. I love ghost signs. You were in Cincinnati, Ohio. I love sweatpants. This is a lady asked like a Mack truck, back in O'Hare or something, complained about missing her connection to Bemidji or Okoboji or some Midwestern hellhole, whatever. But she had this giant, big red ass and sweatpants, and I wear sweatpants. I cut the bottoms off for a modern fit. I like type-on trains. We work down by the train, and I go out and check that shit out all the time. I love Futura Bold. It's an underdog font. Old signs. That fucking 76 by 7. That's my favorite logo of all time. I like Don Rickles. Portlandia is not funny. It's not. Don Rickles is funny. Totally inappropriate. But I like color spectrums. A lot of issues with color spectrums. It gets borrowed by. It's just weird. You gotta be careful with color spectrum. My favorite fucking band of all cosmic time. They're so big now. They're on magazines and shit. But when I loved the Flaming Lips, they were nothing in 1990, right? That was my favorite band because they were these weirdos from Oklahoma City, and they have made it so big now. And the tunes aren't as great to me as those guitar records from the 90 to 97, that period. But it was more this metaphor of, holy shit, if these weirdos from Oklahoma City can get to this level, anyone can. Because my friends in bands would make killer records, and 2.2 records later, it was done, and they owed money, and it was bad, and it was lame, and people were breaking up and whatever. And to see, these guys take this thing, they completed a decade ago, they had completed an 11-record deal with Warner Brothers. Who does that shit? Like Celine Dion or Elton John, right? And then the fucking Flaming Lips did this thing. So this is more. I can't go see the shows anymore because it's just sort of like I got to see them back in the day at some places in town here. Super thankful for that. But it's just this idea of creative control and being small and being okay with being small and getting fucking big like they are, but still being kind of small. They're very accessible. The guy's a total megalomaniac, whatever. But, I've done a little brand building in my day to get my ass backstage just to go and say, thank you. Thank you for this. He's very gracious about it, but I was a little tipsy, and look at the grip on his shoulder. Flaming Lips. All right, the very top of the list, shit I hate, all right? I hate Kid Rock. At the very pinnacle of Dickhead Mountain, you climb up to the top, all the way to the apex. The savior of Detroit. I'm from Detroit, man. And you go home and there are the ghosts of these weirdo bands from the 60s and 70s. My mom would go see Bobby Seger in 1968 and stuff. She saw the Stooges. And she had friends who were White Panthers and shit. That's what I grew up around and on, right? And now I go home and my fucking sister calls me from a Kid Rock parking lot concert. Whatever, partying, parties anyway. Well, fuck Kid Rock, okay? Sandals at weddings, If you're lucky enough to get married, wear some leather shoes like your grandfather did. Enough of the fucking beach themes, you guys, all right? I see a couple heads going. That's right. That's right. Bad signage, don't get me going. Nose jobs. But they didn't work. Nose jobs and fake patriots from Nashville. Yeah. Prime mark abuse. All right, this is a typographer sort of hate, right? Double quote, double prime, and out of the gate, just out of the default. That's what you're going to get when you make 12 inches or 1 inch or whatever. That's a prime mark. Know the difference. All right, that's what I hate. It's a key command. You got to go learn the key commands. I hate stacked food. Fucking bullshit in this town. You can't even get ice in your ice. Fucking stupid, man. You go to these places like, what's that? Sorry, I hope you're not a sponsor. Ken's Artisanal Pizza, and wait for 2 fucking hours to get some stupid, overpriced sizzle pie. $3. Some kid named Scuzz will sell you the thing. In and out, goes over big in Rapid City. Republicans. 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 It's not funny. Don't laugh. He's coming. This is bad. This is scary. Republicans. It's fucking bad news. I hate that shit. The 1 and the 9 in basically every fucking movie made ever by some bullshit, overpaid, lazy Hollywood movie producer who can't get the fucking timing right. Watch it. That shit kills me. Fucking, we took you in the summer to see some Avengers. Yeah, look it up. Bad news. Pineapple. I hate pineapple. That's right. Usually that one gets a sorry. Hipsters dressing like Amish guys, poaching wireless, hanging out in expensive coffee shops. Here we have Joe's and Josiah in Brooklyn, price checking some artisanal jizz rags on hickories or whatever. Back out to a buggy to go back to, we're going to New York tomorrow. Yeah. So, okay, our attempt at wrapping this thing up and getting out of here, getting back to our big lives and little lives. Work is super hard. We are so lucky. All of us, be it digital stuff, making websites and cool things and dongles and fucking little doohickeys and whatever that you make. And we are so lucky to do this stuff. And I will never forget what 100 hours on the clock here and 100 hours on the clock washing dishes will ever be like. I'll never forget that shit. Don't forget that. We're lucky. Say yes a little more than you say no. Designers and creative people, they're good at saying no. I won't work for that price. I will not budge on the changes. Man, you are on the fucking clock. You're being paid a ton of money. My Uncle Kevin cleans pools. He's not allowed to say no ever, Be thankful for that shit. We're lucky to be doing this stuff, really. Do good work for good people. This exists. I've been so lucky and blessed and just to get away with working with my friends, working with bands, working with little brands that have become bigger brands. But first and foremost, I love these people and I trust them with my life and vice versa. So look for that stuff. And then, when the bad ones come along, and I've been burned a couple times, just make a list, and share that. So, Portland, Oregon, happy, well-to-do, smart, crafty people, come visit our fucking merch table. We made a t-shirt for this show and the whole shows, come to the next 16, so come visit that thing. And thank you, Portland, for listening to this shit.